And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. A special episode I put on the Pop Culture Cosmos channels. You can also find on the Lakers Fast Break channel, wherever you get your audio podcasts. It's our return of Inside Sports Fantasy Football. For sixth season, Chris Ardieri, Joe Soro, and I go ahead and chat about some of the things you may want to consider for your upcoming fantasy football draft. So go ahead and check it out today on all three of my great audio channels that I've got for you available right now wherever you get your podcasts. Plus also as well, of course, Empire Jeff TV was on yesterday in the chat. Hopefully everything went well for him. And also as well, go ahead and check out his channel, but hopefully he will continue to go ahead and have good fortune supporting the Dodgers. He's been heading out to Chavez Ravine as of late, so go ahead and check out his channel. Lakers in 5 have been doing their thing as well. Go ahead and check them out. John McCalian's back on YouTube. Good to see him out and about. Wishing him well as well. Go ahead, like and subscribe. All these great channels. The Lakerholics crew at Lakerholics.com. You know, Laker Tom never stops putting out those crazy trade proposals. Also, as well, of course, Jamie Sweet's there laughing at him, and Michael Heinrich's probably the one in the middle going, shake my head indeed. But also, John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. His latest video didn't go the way he planned it in regards to his all-time Lakers draft. I know Joe was on his case as well, didn't chat. I was
one of the worst drafts I think I've ever seen.
I'm trying to be nice to the kid.
No, you don't be nice when you're that bad. You gotta get told that you need to start reading a little bit more. Stop using the excuse of I gotta go do family stuff. Well, we all gotta do family stuff, but what's funny is he did such a great job with the bubble championship information. That's probably what was more disappointing. I'm like, you went through all this prep and you killed it. And then you bombed what should have been pretty easy. So John showed that he can prep and know and deliver, but when he doesn't prep and doesn't know, he burns.
These are the Lakers, man. You and I, off the top of our head, we'd be doing that. We'd just like, bing, 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 bing. But okay, maybe that's just because we've been watching the Lakers for so long. It's second nature to us. But anyways, John Costa, Clutch Talk, and Lakers Corner, which we're on right now. Please go ahead and support him as well. And also as well, big shout out to our member known as Xbox. Mark, big shout out to you down under. As our sole member so far, you are getting all the benefits, which includes emojis, badges, and a special shout out to you from me at the beginning of every show. So we bow down to you. It's $2.99 a month. That's all it is. And you could go ahead and get the same kind of treatment and love from us. Be nice if you did. YouTube would certainly like it. We kind of like it as well. Be nice if you can do it. Along with that like and subscribe thing, we went back under 1,800 subscribers. I love this, how we just like every 100 we get to, we like teeter-totter back and forth. One day we're above 1,800, one day below the 1,800 or 1,700 or whatever. Just seems to be every single time we get to that next 100 subscribers, it just seems to play games with us. So please help us out if you've not subscribed yet. And I know some of you out there haven't subscribed yet. I know. I get all the numbers. I see all the things going on. So please, if you haven't subscribed yet, do yourself a favor. Just subscribe, hit the bell, seek the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the best Lakers show that's out there when we do come on the air. The Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Well, hopefully your time away from the NBA is good, productive, safe, fun, inventive, as we're trying to go ahead and invent some things to discuss that are kind of out of the norm, kind of different, maybe something that you guys want to listen and hear on our shows. And one of the things that Joe suggested, and I said we would talk about it today because I didn't want to talk about it on Kobe Bryant Day because Joe said we would be somber yapping, I think was his quote, but we didn't somber yap. It was pretty pleasant. Everybody in our chat room seemed to kind of like it. So it's Monday now. We are discussing what Joe wanted to talk about, and that is which superstar could be heading on their way to LakerLand at some point in time in the near future. I know the latest rumors from the dirt sheets, and I'll take the pro wrestling vernacular over to the dirt sheets of all these Laker places. You know the places. You probably go and click on the places that have these wild and wacky rumors. And the latest one involves Luka Doncic supposedly going to turn down whatever money that's offered to him because he can get substantially more money in Dallas. The fact is they have a better team right now than the Lakers in Dallas. But yet somehow he's going to bypass all that. So when LeBron retires, he will make his way, according to all the rumors, to Los Angeles. So if that's the case, who does Joe and who do I think of any of these big names might be headed at some point in time on the way to Los Angeles? And here today to discuss just that is the man himself, the master, the ruler of the world himself, in honor of the late Sid Udy. Rest in peace, my friend, Sid Vicious, one of my favorite pro wrestlers of all time, the master and the ruler of the world, multi-time world champion. Good man indeed is here, though. It is, of course, the man behind Oxide T47 at LakersBall.com, and of course, the owner of Simblades for the Y.com. It is Joe Soro. And Joe, you texted me over a pretty fair list. I will give you a compliment. It was a pretty darn good list. But these Luka Doncic rumors, because it's the dead time of the year and people just got to whip things out of their butt, when it comes to it. I don't really see a scenario now yet that Luka Doncic would bypass all the money he would be offered more than what Dallas could do and just come to LA after LeBron leaves. But you never know what happens in the future. But if that's the case, who are the trending names in your mind you think will come at some point in time to Los Angeles?
Luka's the one we want out of the bunch, likely. However, Luka's going to need to take a major pay cut to do that. And the pay cut would be the Supermax price, as well as the fact that he's in Texas. And the Texas tax is real. Granted, when you play outside of your home court, you do pay the taxes that you played at as well. That's how they set it up. However, you have 41 games where you're playing in Texas, and that's going to save you a substantial amount of money. It's, I believe, in Nevada, Texas, Florida, the major states that have pro sports teams. Those are going to be the favorite states to play in, not only because of weather and lifestyle, but also because of the state tax not existing there. If Luka was to make a decision that wearing the Laker gold would be more lucrative for him in another way, then there might be a possibility. But I don't know if, from what I'm seeing so far with how the Lakers are running the team, that's going to be a possibility.
That's the key, Joe. That's why I'm not as high on any of these rumors, is because the ineptness of that.
Well, it's not really rumors. The show is more about who is more likely
But this is what it's based off, because some of these other channels and shows are starting to try and drum up these supposed.
I'm sorry. With all due respect to those
stuff
shows,
that you hate
the clickbait stuff is trash. It always will be trash. I'd rather have 1.79 subs than 10,000 subs so that I can fake show every damn show. No, I'm not. No, I don't. Look, if you're gonna do this right, do it right. If money's that important to you, then do it. At some point, we're going to get it right on our own, doing it our way. That's just the way it is. And sometimes that takes a little longer, which is fine by me. Everything I've done in my life has taken a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but it happens eventually, and it's done under my ethics and my morals and my not being a fake studio gangster, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are a couple names that are intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Intriguing is the only word I can use. Because it's still about money. It's still going to be about money, and money is going to usually win out above trying to play for your hometown team or your favorite team. The other thing is that has to be factored into this, that we're not the only people who know how things are getting run in LA. It's just not being run well. However, LA and Jeannie and the crowd think that because they've overwhelmed their stars with the support, they've already given Anthony Davis 2 extensions. They've given LeBron a full max contract already, 2 extensions, and pretty much carte blanche on whatever the hell he wants, even drafting a non-NBA player that happens to be in his family. Maybe that matters to somebody. Maybe that might bring some guys like, hey, man, if I go to LA, they're going to take care of me for the next 15 years. Even when we're not competing, they'll give us money. Look what they did to Kobe last couple of years. So that could be the little thing that might keep them in it. However, looking at the list, I've been trying to think about the top 5. I think the top 4 was easy. I couldn't figure out the 5th. So there's like 3 guys that are lingering in that 5th spot. First was obviously Luka. And Luka would be ideal because of his game. His game would fit perfect in LA. It's very Hollywood. It would definitely resonate. Number 2 is Victor Wembanyama. Not Hollywood, not by any means LA style type mentality, but a future multi MVP in the works, barring any injury, knock on wood. Number 3 was Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is an interesting and intriguing one because does Anthony feel like he could really market himself out in Minnesota? See, that always will be a question down the line. Now, his contract doesn't run out until 2029, and he'll be at the heat of his prime. You're talking about prime for a perimeter type player in the NBA is usually in that late 20 mark, between 28 and 32. That's when the prime of a prime great player is at its peak. And he would be a free agent in the summer of 2029. Number 4 is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Much like Luka, I think they've got teams that are kind of going a certain way, and I don't think they're going to want to leave. I think they're going to want to get their money. And then, of course, Sam Presti's building a hell of a team out there. He's not likely to leave, but that was the 4th one that I thought in my head. And his contract is up in 2027. The 5th one that I kind of went with loosely was Tyrese Halliburton. And then below him was Trae Young and De'Aaron Fox. Those are like the 3 that are in the 5 spot. Now, De'Aaron Fox is probably the most intriguing one out of the bunch because he has denied an extension, I believe, in Sacramento.
Who was?
De'Aaron Fox.
I don't think so. Let me.
There's been some talk that he's not signed an extension there. I don't know if it's real, but
I'll look that. Let me see what his contract is right now.
If that is true, then there may be something brewing there where he may want to test the waters I am actually
8 months ago, De'Aaron Fox reportedly turns down a max contract extension from the Sacramento Kings. He may just be ready to cash in next year and do it next year when you get more value out of it. Does that make sense?
When you see the Gordon Haywards and the Paul Georges having their legs snapped into chicken legs in certain games.
Well, right now he's signed through 2026, just to let you know.
Right. I think if I had to pick the most likely player out of that bunch that would defect, that would allow himself to be a free agent in his prime and kind of getting away from the possibilities of a supermax, it would probably be De'Aaron Fox. And that would be perfect timing because that's likely when LeBron is at the least going to be retiring. I mean, he could retire next year, but my guess is he's probably going to retire in 2026. And then that would fall in line with what that contract with De'Aaron Fox would be. It's going to be. I want to see how this current collective bargaining agreement really resonates in the NBA in terms of keeping their own players. If everyone decides to stay with their teams, this might be the NBA's excuse of not having super teams anymore.
I don't know, Joe. He is probably going to be offered again another contract extension before everything is all said and done. And he would be leaving tens of millions and an extra year on the table if he doesn't sign with Sacramento. Because remember, that's the deal. When you are offered those contract extensions, A, you're offered more money per year than if you became a free agent. And B, I think you also can get another year added onto your contract extension offer if you're by your home team, as opposed to going out and trying to sign with someone else. That's the incentive for you to stay with your home team. I have a feeling Sacramento is going to offer him or back up the Brinks truck, as I like to say, again, before 2026 ends. I'll just leave it at that. I think that personally, and once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. Like Frank and also Eric in the chat. I hope you guys are well. Appreciate you guys stopping by. That's the one I had in my mind coming into the show is Giannis Antetokounmpo as he gets closer to the big 3-0. I mentioned he's starting to get a little bit more injury prone, starting to break down a little bit. We'll see. This is a make or break year with him and Damian Lillard in Milwaukee and Doc Rivers to see how far those two will work out. We talked about that. Legend and I talked about that when we were covering Milwaukee yesterday, and appreciate him being on the show. And actually, he might stop by again with me and Alfred Esmond tomorrow talking about the offseason. So if it doesn't work out, Joe, maybe Giannis will start moaning about trying to be transferred or traded somewhere else. You talked about Trae Young, the Trae Young to Lakers rumors. I think that to me is more believable just because if Trae Young's play continues to be okay and the team in Atlanta continues to be just okay and then they're in that purgatory, I think that could be more viable for the Lakers to go ahead and get him. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, of the top 10 players in the league, I would say that he would be the most likely to move to Los Angeles.
Giannis, how would he move?
He would, first of all, ask a request for trade, have his list of teams. It would have to be some scenario like that, to have the small list of teams. And if Milwaukee felt compelled to do it, they would go ahead and do it. Although the Lakers just don't have enough first-round picks to get any superstar right now, if that was the case. If any superstar became disgruntled, Joe, even Trae Young, they just don't. Maybe Trae Young they have enough assets for if you combine them with players, such as if you did a package with Rui and you threw in AR, and you threw in maybe Dalton Connect, you threw in the whole package and the whole kit caboodle, you may be able to get a Trae Young, but you need more draft picks in order to get one of these heavy duty superstars if they become disgruntled and they want to move to LA. I'm just saying only if. Because if Bridges can get six first round draft picks, you know what I mean? But again, that's only if a player of that caliber, would dictate the marketplace because they were so disgruntled in their current residence.
Not having assets in terms of draft capital and a speck of talent on your team other than a little bit of Reeves, a little bit of Rui, and maybe a possible rookie that could be a contributor. Even if Giannis asks for a trade in January, the Lakers can't really do anything.
No, they don't have enough picks.
Because even if he says, hey, I'm only wanting to go to LA, they don't give a damn. They'll let him get traded somewhere and then play out there. And then if you want to go to LA as a free agent. At least that's what I would do.
If only THT looked up. Yeah. He was a second round draft pick, though. We got to talk about that, JSJ. Come on. We thought he had potential. But yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. Yeah, interesting. Markelle Fultz, number one draft pick so many years ago, is still out of the league at this point in time, that he's not found a home as of yet. Interesting how that has worked out as well. But yeah, at this point in time, Joe, you'll continue to hear it because it fills up columns. It fills up time on podcasts. It makes for great fodder, great clickbait. If X, whatever superstar, that's the next one that's going to come to LA at any point in time. I just don't see a pathway right now. It's not the golden days where you're getting Shaq to come to LA, or if you're getting LeBron to come to LA, because LA had a lot of assets. They could move to get Anthony Davis here as well. They had a lot of reasons why LeBron might have been interested into coming. It just worked out that way as far as, the lifestyle, a lot of things that he wanted to take care of here in the entertainment industry, money availability, young Lakers team with assets at that point in time. Now the Lakers, like you said, all these years later, they're spent due to bad trade after bad trade, after bad move, after bad move. You're depleted on what you can actually get. So if a star does become available because they're disgruntled or what have you, whatever circumstance, Joe, it will be really hard to see a pathway right now, a pathway for them to come to LA.
No. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't look good. The Lakers are very similar to the Rams right now in that they're so depleted in draft capital that they can't really adjust from anything that they already don't have.
I mean, these Gobert and Bridges trades where they gave draft picks like candy, like, it's Halloween or something. It's just going to be hard to say, oh, let's just retrofit the marketplace, Joe, and let's just say 2 draft picks are going to be it for this superstar. It just doesn't work like that. Once that door opened, Pandora's box opened, that's what you got.
I'm not a big fan of basing.
What did you say, cool bro?
I'm not a big fan of one stupid trade dictating an entire market. There was a house behind me about 7 or 8 years ago that sold for way below market. And my neighbor who was thinking about selling said that house screwed up my market. I go, why? They go, because they sold it for this much money and now I can't ask for this much money. I go, that lady that couple got divorced. It's a known fact that houses always sell cheaper when there's a divorce imminent. And the Rudy Gobert debacle in terms of package shouldn't dictate anything in the NBA. It shouldn't set any kind of market unless if you understand what's going on. The Minnesota Timberwolves, teams like the Minnesota Timberwolves cannot attract any free agents ever. The current rules have pretty much put a kibosh on that, probably close to 100% now. Before it was maybe 99%, because now they don't want anybody to leave. The only way that Minnesota Timberwolves stay relevant is if they continue to suck and draft the Kevin Garnetts and the Karl Anthony Towns and the Anthony Edwards. There is no other way. There is no other way to get talent unless, of course, Kevin Love as well back in the day, right? And you're just not, you have to do what you have to do. And I commended them for it because what choice do they have? Whether it was a bad trade or not, and it was a bad trade, but they have no choice. They had no choice. And that's just how it is in the NBA. You have to understand that's just how it is in the NBA. This isn't the NFL where there's only a certain money allocated to each team, and people are going to go get where they can get the most money no matter where they are. The NBA doesn't work like that. There's a way for a team to keep its players above the cap. However, they are making it harder now with the aprons. And the market, I don't believe anything sets the market in the NBA. It just doesn't, it's not the same. LA, Minnesota, New Orleans, Miami, they're not the same. Why did LeBron go to Miami? Question is, why did he go to Miami? Well, the reason why he went to Miami in 2010, 2011 is because no one wanted to come to Cleveland. He asked Chris Bosh, hey, will you come to Cleveland? He said, absolutely not. And LeBron saw himself turning into Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett's loyalty to the Timberwolves created a major rift in his legacy because he wasn't able to compete for championships every year because no one came to Minnesota. Am I wrong or am I right?
No, you're right.
I mean, the Latrell Sprewells and the Sam Cassells, but I don't consider those guys
but again,
megastars.
like I told you, I mean, the Bridges trade where there's 6 first-round draft picks, either swaps or full 6, first-round draft picks involved. Like the Gobert trade, they're now setting the marketplace where you need to throw them out like candy. And there's only a few teams with those kind of assets out there. And the Lakers are not one of them.
Lakers have two major problems. Number one, their team is run by buffoons. Number two, they've decimated any leverage or any assets that could enhance the team.
It was an overpay on the Bridges. I agree with you, JSJ, but New York is going all in. They're, these teams, you can see the teams that are doing everything they can all in, although I'm still puzzled by the letting Hartenstein go. That was a mistake. I think that'll come back to haunt them. I know, Eric, you mentioned Houston. Houston has a lot of switchable pieces. They have a lot of wings. I mean, my gosh, they have a lot of 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" guys that can all do various things, but are any going to take it to that next level? They'll play well together. They'll probably be in the 40s as far as wins are concerned this year. I would say that's a possibility. But are they going to take that next step? Do they have that player like let's take Minnesota? Do they have that Anthony Edwards or a Cat that can help them get to a nice long playoff run? I'm not sure if they have that player as of yet, Joe. So trading them, like Jalen Green was mentioned in the chat. Yeah, I think he's going to be that type of professional scorer that's going to get you buckets. It's going to get you 20 points a game. But how much better does he really make your team if you trade for him? I'm not sure. Yeah,
I would
I don't know
say
if there's a star player on that team.
as it
Amen Thompson might be that player.
as it pertains to the current roster, I would actually want to know if I was able to sit with LeBron and just talk to him face to face without any BS.
By the way, not Mike Lindell says he's going to buy your house. How much would you put it on the market for? 10, 15 million?
No.
I think J-Lo is and what? Ben's Affleck's isn't theirs going for like 60 million? Yours is just going right a little bit below.
20
mil. Oh, that's a bargain.
Absolutely. It's good neighborhood. Good neighbors will like it.
Talk about setting in the marketplace.
The question I have for LeBron, honestly, is do you come to LA if Magic's not waiting at your gate at 12:01? Because that would tell me a lot. If he says yes, then it only proves the fact that the Lakers post Magic have gone downhill. If he says no, I was coming to LA anyways, it's still in favor of the fact that LA didn't, or the management didn't really do anything. It was LeBron's understanding likely that these guys would kiss his rear end, unlike Pat Riley did and unlike Dan Gilbert did in Cleveland, which I would venture to that. Think about it for a second. He probably sat there and said, look, these guys take care of their superstars. It's LA. I'm the king. I'm going to wear purple and gold, and they need me. And they have the money that I can just go there as a free agent. And that's an interesting scenario that I wonder if we're ever going to get that again. Does LeBron do that if he had supermax contracts in Cleveland and in Miami, or aprons in the CBA? All these things. That's something I guess we'll never know. What are the Lakers going to do next after LeBron is gone?
Sure.
And that's the point of this discussion today is there a superstar that could replace LeBron James? The Lakers have always been good at replacing their stars. Kobe retired in 2016. 2 years later, LeBron was an LA Laker. Before then, you had a 4-year window before Shaq and Kobe came in 96. Before then, you had Magic in 1979, West, Wilt. Well, actually, it actually started before then. Jerry West and Wilt retired in 1974, and then Kareem became a Laker in 75, and then Magic came in 1979. There's never really been a gap too big. Maybe the biggest gap was in 1992 through 1995. That was the biggest gap, 4 seasons where the Lakers didn't have a true superstar on their team. That's a crazy stat. I just realized that. They've had only 4. That's the longest gap they've had without a real superstar. Think about it for a second. You had Elgin Baylor, who was drafted in 1959. Jerry West was drafted in 1960. And then before then, they had Mikan, right? They had Mikan and the crew. So Mikan, I think, might have retired in, 1956? I think it was 56 or 57.
Yeah.
So the biggest gap the Lakers ever had without having a superstar was between 1992 and 1996. And since their inception, they're always having that guy. So when LeBron retires, let's say in 2 seasons, you still have Anthony Davis there. So they're not going to have that non-superstar still on their team. We're not going to really know how this team develops until Anthony Davis is gone or retires.
Well, that's scary because right now we don't have much beyond our top two players to get excited about. I mean, I mean, now we're seeing, it's so funny, Joe, because, we have been so hard for the most part. There's maybe some of the panelists are a little bit higher on Max Christie than us because, again, we're not a blanket. Not all of us have the same opinions on Max Christie. So to that individual who keeps on emailing us in regards to that absolutely just loves Max Christie. Okay. Most of us have a negative opinion on Max Christie being able to efficiently help the Lakers. But again, if that's the case, there's just not much available for the Lakers and those options. And the reason why I'm saying that is the fact that, again, the Lakers, just the sheer amount of assets that they have, it's not good, Joe. It's just not good. I don't know what superstars they can bring here. Really, like you said, it just comes down to if one wants to let their contract run out like a De'Aaron Fox in 2026, bypassing tens of millions of dollars and an extra year, just saying, hey, I want to go play in LA or I want to go play somewhere else. That'd be the only way I think they're going to do it because, again, a trade for a superstar with what the Lakers have is just probably not going to happen.
We're going to have a chance to see how good we are this year. We, as in the Lakers fast break. If the Lakers do not make the playoffs, everything we said was correct. If the Lakers compete for a championship, then Darvin Ham was worse than we thought. Might be the worst coach ever, if that's the case. Common sense tells us, when was the last time a coach came in without any experience, not even as an assistant, and made an impact that created a championship run? Did Steve Kerr ever coach before he came in 2015 or 15?
No.
He was an executive.
Yes.
Right?
And a commentator.
So maybe the Lakers think that this will be, saying that he's the next Pat Riley was kind of stupid because it's not even the same. They would have been better off calling him the next Steve Kerr. But the problem with that too is Steve Kerr came to a team with three guys that had just hit their prime. And two of them are the greatest shooters of all time, hitting their prime. Also, excellent team players and chemistry players. And then you had Draymond Green, who was, speaking of your compadre on those emails, I'm going to segue into that here before we're done for the night, because I said we would.
Yeah.
Why?
You told him would.
And this is the problem with morons. And it's not just the moron that keeps emailing you about stupid shit. Stop telling me what the F somebody's resume is 13 years in. I'm talking about right now. I don't give a shit if Russell Westbrook got triple doubles in 2013. I'm talking about 2021. Do you understand? Do you all understand this? Same goes with Draymond Green. What did we say after the 2022 NBA Finals in which they won? I said, I know, because I remember I was there, Draymond almost cost the Warriors in that series until Steph Curry went nuts. He should never have been re-signed because he was dead. So when you sit here and you tell me about spacing for Draymond Green in year 40 versus year 4, you're a moron. You're an idiot and you don't pay attention. And wake up. Wake the hell up. If you don't think we know what the hell we're talking about, stop watching the show. Because we know what we're talking about because you're trying to argue through it. That's how you know. Why are you arguing with me if you're right and I'm wrong? Are you trying to change my mind? It has nothing to do with me, folks. It never has anything to do with me or you or anyone. It's the damn facts. It's there. Watch, observe, interpret. It's not me saying, man, you don't. And I'm not even trying to explain myself to too much detail here because go look at the tape. I was in support of, let's say, Russell Westbrook coming to LA.
I thought it was the worst thing ever.
I was positive. Yay! LeBron James has always been able to play with anybody. That was my mindset because at that point, that's what it said.
I pissed on it from day one.
And it changed. When things change, you have to then comment about that change. Why are you doing this now? Why do you keep doing the same thing? It's not working. He's not working. It was a bad call. Last year, I said you cannot blame Rob Pelinka anymore. He signed everyone. He gave everyone their money. He gave everybody their extensions. He's still giving lousy players like Max Christie an extension, thinking they're going to be great or good. Still doing the same stupid moves over and over again. THT, Vanderbilt, Max Christie, over and over again. You're giving money to lousy players. Oh, Joe, we need to have them, draft capital with their contracts so we can make trades later. Okay, I get that. But you also have to have some talent that's attached to that. You have no talent. No one wants Vanderbilt or Max Christie or the THTs of the world or your draft pick in 4012. And how is a player like Luka, Wembanyama, Anthony Edwards, you don't think they know? You don't think their agents know? You don't think their management know? We're guys that are doing a show in our offices, in our studios, in our rooms. You don't think these guys who actually do this professionally and get paid for it, you don't think they know? So when you talk about the market before LeBron decided to come to LA was LaMarcus Aldridge, Carmelo Anthony, and any free agent before then always came to LA and laughed when they left.
Kevin Durant, too.
That's how bad they were. And they're still bad because they're clowns. It's a clown circus show with the head clown being the bus kids. No longer going to blame just good old bartender boy. These people don't belong running a franchise like this. They're the Mark Davises of the NBA. They have no business running an NBA team. Jeannie needs to go and go play with her dogs and go be reality things over there. Go live your life there. You don't belong owning a team. And Rob Pelinka needs to go back to being a agent that's good at telling you what you want to hear. That's it. That's all he's good for, in my opinion. That's it. Put somebody in here that actually knows what the hell they're doing. We already got enough of lousy owners in LA in the last decade or so. We had Frank McCourt. Bud Selig's legacy in my book is allowing someone, a chode face like Frank McCourt, actually own a Major League Baseball team. And he still owns the parking lot at Dodger Stadium, by the way.
Does he? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, that parking lot. I have not good memories of that parking lot.
The same parking lot, by the way, that has paralyzed at least two people that in the last 20 years.
Yes. I told you the story about me and my friend, right? We drove from Las Vegas, went to Chavez Ravine. He is a huge Braves fan, and he goes there And I'm just like, okay, first of all, why are we sitting in the bleachers, the most, filled, packed place of drunk people that you could go to? So he gets things thrown at him throughout the entire game. Then he decides to rent, well, actually not rent. We are actually in the rental car industry, so we got it as managers. A convertible. So he's driving a convertible. He's got the top down as we're leaving Chavez Ravine in the parking lot. Do you know the kind of verbal and almost physical, well, people taking shots at him right and left, people throwing things. You know the kind of abuse he got because he was wearing his damn Maddox jersey? And I'm just looking at him going like, dude, you're an idiot for wearing the damn Maddox jersey this entire time. I don't know why you're doing it, man. I don't know what kind of machismo you're trying to do, but as your friend and the guy who's getting pelted alongside of you, I'd ask you, please take the jersey off for 10 minutes. That's all I ask. And he didn't. And we still got pelted. And of course, you know, it's bumper to bumper. So we sat there for an hour in the parking lot, inch by inch, him getting verbally accosted by every single Dodger fan on the way out. Ace parking is worse. They're still trying to figure out if they're going to pay it. Now there's actual legal action against that JSJ. So we don't even know right now if that Vegas thing is going to come true.
The Vegas thing is happening.
I don't know about that, Joe. It's iffy right now. There's actually been, I think, was a lawsuit filed? I think a lawsuit was filed about the 350 or 380 million that's public funding, and why isn't that going to schools?
They'll pull it out of some other poor bastard's rear end.
I'm sure they will. They will.
There is no denying.
They've already torn down the.
They're going to have a
Tropicana.
Major League Baseball team in Vegas, and the last thing will be the Vegas NBA team. Las Vegas wants to become the sports capital of the planet. They want to supplant LA. And the way LA is functioning right now, I would not be surprised in the next 10 years where Vegas will be the new Hollywood. It just needs the right machine over there for the movie side of things, because it's still the people who are trying to do movies in Vegas are like delusional Arab trillionaires.
Cool, bro. When it comes to Angel Stadium, it's like the Raiders here at Allegiant Stadium. Half the stadium is the other team's fans. So yeah, it's a lot better because there's a lot more fans there, because the Angels fans don't give a damn and they just go in and out. They just go cruise in and out. They don't really care. They're on their way to Disneyland or somewhere else because they do get about 2.5 million there. That's just because, you know, it's a lot of people seeing their favorite teams come in on the road. Yeah. So the Angels, it's kind of different. The Dodgers are hardcore. Dodgers, it's Dodger blue when you go there. Joe, am I not correct on that? It is Dodger blue. It is not like half and half, or when the Yankees or some other team comes in, it's taken over by it's mainly Dodger blue, Joe.
LA loves their Dodgers. They're always at the top of attendance, and it never will stop. With Ohtani coming, I can only imagine what it's going to be this year. I mean, I was even predicting it could be 5 million, but we'll see. 4 million has happened, and then 3+ million has been happening for years. People love the Dodgers, love going to Dodger games, and it's a beautiful stadium. It's a beautiful stadium to go watch baseball. They've given you every reason to go watch them. They've been very competitive for more than a decade and a half. Even the little lull in the early 2010s, I mean, they've been really competitive since 2008 and beyond. You're talking about a team that's almost now going to be going almost on 20 years likely of being competitive. The only thing they're missing is probably 2 or 3 World Series, 2 or 3 more World Series. One wasn't their fault. Second one wasn't also their fault. And then a couple of duds in 19 and 22 in my book that should have had. But with Ohtani there, and hopefully some kind of a miracle with these pitchers being able to pitch in the playoffs, maybe we can see a World Series this year again, so that the dynasty can officially start. Because one or 2 championships is not a dynasty. You need at least 3. But in my book, it's actually 4. I think 4 is usually the number in my book.
Mm-hmm.
But the dynasty thing is, there's too many components to it. Because how are you not a dynasty if you three-peat? If you don't win another championship, you have a run of 3 straight. That has to be a dynasty, right?
Yes.
Who the hell who wins 3 straight? No one. In the 4 major sports, and let's say since I was born, you had let's say hockey. I know that the Islanders won 4 in a row in the 80s.
What about Edmonton?
I don't think they won 3 in a row. Okay. They won 5. They won 4 with Gretzky, and they won the 5th one.
You don't consider that a dynasty?
No. I'm saying the teams that won 3 straight. Since I was born. I was born in 1978. So since 1978, the Islanders won 4 in a row. So they won 3, obviously. The Jordan Bulls won 3-peated. You had the Lakers 3-peat. Who else? And you had the Yankees 3-peat in 98, 99, and 2000. From the major 4.
Alfred Esmond's in the chat. We will see tomorrow on the show. In an alternate universe, the Bills won 4 straight.
Hey, hold on. It's actually not an alternate universe. It's actually on Earth. So for those who don't know this, when they make the gear Super Bowl Sunday, they obviously make gear for each teams, right? The team that loses, they take that gear and they mail it to countries that are in need of clothes. So let's say the clothes went to a village in South America or Africa. So for 4 years straight, somebody in those villages got 4 straight Bills championship shirts and hats. So somewhere on Earth, at some point in 1993, 94, that was the last year, right? Someone collected their 4th straight Bills championship Super Bowl winning shirt.
There's somebody walking around with it. Collector's item. There you go. Absolutely. Alfred Esmond said those people think Jim Kelly is the best ever. I don't want to be too hard on Jim Kelly because he's going through a lot.
If that village only had T-shirts to dictate who the best in the NFL was, how can you deny it? You tell me. Let's talk about that real quick. If the Bills had won 4 straight in America in real life,
mm-hmm.
Jim Kelly is probably in that discussion.
Right,
4 straight,
Tom Brady, yeah.
4 straight, yeah. I think he'd be in that discussion for sure. And Jim was a big Steeler fan. His whole family still were Steeler fans, and there was a lot of talk that he might be a Steeler before his career was over, and it didn't go that way. But hey, hell of a guy, hell of a career.
I'm hoping he'll continue to stay with us as I'm typing in the chat because I know he's gone through a lot in recent years. So wishing him and his family all the best. I know that, again, like you said, just a couple things would have changed. And that you never know. Would have been thought of in a completely different light as far as Jim Kelly's career is concerned. But it is what it is. But Joe, coming down to the final stretch here for this evening's show. Tomorrow, hopefully I get together with Alfred Esmond, maybe even Legend 350. If both guys can stop by, we will have part 2 of our look at who did the best in this off season, I should say. But before we head on out, Joe, the original question stands. Is there actually any superstars? You named your list of possible players. But realistically, when it comes down to it, is there any players you think the Lakers will eventually be able to get or will magically, through some type of free agent ploy, just want to make his way to Los Angeles?
I just don't see it with the current rules. Not a in his prime superstar. You could even say LeBron came a tad bit over his prime, even though he was still unreal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the league really punched themselves in the face with this new CBA. It's unfortunate too. All because I don't know. All in the name of equality.
And Alfred, that's a good question. Paulo Banchero. But I mean, again, he will have the tax advantage of being in Florida. He will continually be offered, if he plays at the current level that he is, will continue to be offered extensions by Orlando as long as he helps them continue to win games. But I don't know really how good he will be in the long run. Is he going to be a number one on a upper echelon playoff team? We'll see. I think we will get that test here in the next couple of years in Orlando, if he can be that guy taking his team, Orlando, to, let's say, a semifinal, not semifinals, like a West Eastern Conference Finals. If you could take them to an Eastern Conference Finals, I would be really impressed with Paulo Banchero. I think that we'd have to change our minds and maybe put Paulo a little bit higher than what we thought he was going to be. So
Banchero,
I don't know yet.
Banchero's ceiling is being a number 2 guy on a title team.
Mhm.
I don't believe he'll ever be a number 1 franchise player that takes his team to the title.
Okay.
It's just,
I don't think it's 100% certain, but I'm not going to say I disagree with you. So Sunday,
that's a good one, Darren, by the way. I see what you did there.
Sunday says, before you go, Joe, can you clarify what a Hall of Fame player means in your book? So what constitutes, because you've been a little bit back and forth on it, what constitutes someone that you think is a Hall of Famer?
Are you talking NBA or in general?
And I think in general.
In general. For me, a Hall of Famer has to be the best player in his league for at least 3-4 years, or at least the best at his position. Because there's certain, I was thinking NBA, sorry. You have to be at least the best. Again, my Hall of Fame criteria is not realistic for a lot of people. To me, you have to be scary good. Scary good and one of the best, if not the best, for a 3 or 4 year period.
Like, for instance, Michael Cooper, who just got inducted to the Hall of Fame, who's going to get his number retired during the season, would probably not qualify under those pretexts.
No, he wouldn't. There's some teetering in there because James Worthy is one that could fall in that line too. But man, James Worthy was big in
big
playoffs.
When it counted the most.
Oh my God, yeah. So it's AI is Hall of Famer. Yes, AI arguably was the best player in the NBA for a good amount of time.
I would agree with that. Absolutely. He was, if to me, top 5, top 3, top 5 in the league for more than 3 years. He was. So
CP3, man, it could have. Oof, man, what a difference.
Because he will make the Hall of Fame, but is he, in your mind, a Hall of Famer?
CP3?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was the best.
His peak.
Guard. His peak, he was the best point guard by far for probably 6-7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
even when he was running 1-2 with Deron Williams.
Yes. Deron kind of had his number, but not really. They were kind of maybe more like Larry Bird and Magic in terms of who can you pick. You know, Larry Bird maybe from from 80 to 86.
Well, that's a good question, Sunday. Do you count winning championships? Does championships automatically have to be a part? Because then Charles Barkley, you wouldn't consider.
No, rings
Patrick
don't have.
Ewing.
No, because Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, John Stockton are all Hall of Famers. They'd be Hall of Famers in my book. And they didn't win. And they didn't win because there was a guy in Chicago that stopped them. That says a lot.
Steve Nash, you're right.
Steve Nash playing with Mike D'Antoni in Phoenix was one of the most perfect marriages at the right time that you can ever have.
We mentioned his name right now, Joe. We mentioned it earlier, Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook, from an individual standpoint, is absolutely a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So Presti drafted Durant, drafted Russell Westbrook, drafted James Harden.
Jeff Green.
Jeff Green.
I'm not saying Hall of Famer. I'm just saying he drafted a player that did have a very good career.
Well, he did Serge Ibaka too, and who was the other one?
Collison. Collison was pretty solid.
But Presti just if they had just taken care of Harden, they're just gonna give them the max. They would have they probably keep Gold State from winning a couple more championships.
I agree.
Yeah.
JSJ says Jamal Crawford's going to be in the Hall of Fame and Vince Carter's a Hall of Fame candidate.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put Jamal. Jamal and Vince would not be in my Hall of Fame, and neither would Tracy McGrady.
Who do you think is better, CP3 or Nash? Because 7 Grad says Nash is better than CP3. It's close.
Man, if there ever was a tie, it'd be those two. Because one had a long career that was amazing, and the other, I think his peak was better than CP3's, which was about 5 years. It's a hard one. Those are hard questions to answer, I'll be honest. I can be wrong and I can be right on that one. That's more opinion.
Sunday says Prime AI or
I take AI.
Okay.
I take AI. AI had something just different. Rose was amazing too, don't get me wrong, but AI scared people. I was never scared of Derrick Rose. And that's really where my assessments come from. If I'm scared of a player, that's how I know they're good.
Yeah, I think the way that AI was, especially in those late 90s, early 2000s, again, when he seemingly tried to take on the Lakers by himself and carry his entire team. It did work for one game, the famous step over Tyronn Lue game, but ultimately it wasn't meant to be. But yeah, Prime AI, I would.
Stephen A. Smith called it before the series. He said AI was going to get him one. He got him game one, and with little help with that stupid ass ref in overtime that called Robert Horry for an offensive foul when the Lakers were up 5 with the ball going.
I would say yes to Yao Ming, but that's just me because of what he did for international ball as well.
I'm talking basketball. I'm not talking about the impact.
Well, it's just okay. I'm talking about, well, he was considered one of the best, and I would say yes. For me, yes, it's a Hall of Famer.
No, too short a career, not enough.
Joe, are you a cool rant or a tyrant?
Probably more of a tyrant.
Okay. All right.
If you look at Marcus Aurelius and read a little bit about Marcus Aurelius, I'm probably more like him because there was an idea he had in his mind of how things should run, but still had the ferociousness. I'm not talking about the Marcus Aurelius and Gladiator. They had tidbits of correct information on him there, but not all the way. I'm a guy who believes in control, but when it matters. But you can't really do that in a republic or a democracy, because it doesn't translate, especially if somebody else comes into power and you have that kind of philosophy. The next person could be a psycho and ruin it, which is what happens.
I'll tell you what, it's been great chatting with you, Joe, about thoughts about a possible superstar that could make their way here to Los Angeles. I just don't see a pathway to it, but you never know what could happen. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. Again, looking for a good time tomorrow when we are talking to Alfred Esmond and also as well Legend 350, right?
Am I the only one here? Did Gerald check out? Gerald, you okay? Am I the only one here, guys? Hello? So Gerald must have forgotten that good internet is important. And with that, I want to thank you all for joining us here tonight. Joe, name your price for the house. I knew you'd come back.
I knew I'd come back too. Yeah, I was just suspended in space. Gotta love the internet.
So, Mike, Mr. Lindell, not Mike Lindell, weren't you just yapping about how it was were you talking about me yapping about yelling?
Yeah, he turned you off while you were on your rant.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Well, yeah.
That was not even
here. This is what it's for sale for.
Oh, yeah, that's the sign that Cool Bro says he's going to give in his class. And I told him,
I figured since this theme started with that, I figured
sign language. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He says he's going to Mike says he's going to buy your house anyways. So,
how are you going to buy my house?
20 million.
You want it for 20 million? I'm in Temecula, suburb of Temecula.
That just crashed.
You're more than welcome. You can find Sin Blades online. My warehouse address is at Sin Blades. You'll see it. If you want to come negotiate or give me a check, you're more than welcome to come to my place.
No, I think that was more CPU related on that one, guys. I had like 10 tabs open. I was actually in the process of closing it, and I think that's what happened. Just, you said, Joe, you talked about how many tabs you have open sometimes, and I do as well. And,
well, it's important to let everybody know we don't just come in here and wing it.
Exactly.
We actually
got to prepare. Yeah.
If you don't prepare, we do remember a lot of stuff, but we also have to be current on the events.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to remember every contract. I'm not going to remember every guy that.
Sport Track is such a great resource.
Right.
Sport Track's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's Hoops Hype is also a really good one.
But you don't need to go through a paywall. The best thing about it is you don't need to go through a paywall to get to it, and that's information that we need and we translate to you guys out there on a daily basis. And the fact that some of these information sites, they make you go through hoops to do it all the time. It's kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. Everybody's trying to make a buck, and YouTube, not Yahoo, but YouTube is trying to make a buck on us. So if you want to go ahead and
they want to make a buck on us, not giving us jack shit too.
If you want to go ahead and get some memberships out of it, again, to get some of those emojis, and I'll see if I can come up.
How about hooking us up with some algorithms so we can get more people watching the show? Help us out, YouTube, and then we'll pay you by having those people watch our show, so that little whining little girls on the chats aren't worried about people, raising their voices a little bit.
Oh, JSJ says that's up to. We've asked JSJ, just to let you know. I've asked. I texted with John Costa the other day. I said Joe really wants to speak to that guy. It's his neighbor, I think, in regards to that bubble. So I'll keep asking John to see if Joe and that guy could have a nice little debate on the bubble. I think the guy was a Golden State fan, if I remember.
Unfortunately, his argument during the little bit of watching that show was not good. So I don't know how that's going to go. If I'm going to be sitting there in silence, waiting for him to explain himself, and then I'm either going to have to make a decision on either telling him that he doesn't know anything or respectfully not saying anything. Yeah. Depends on how I feel that day. Maybe I should have some. I don't know.
I'll make some more Joe emojis in the coming days to see if I can figure out if I can find some good Joe emojis that I can come up with, and I'll probably add them to the emoji list. For those members out there, it's $2.99 a month. I don't have any other tiers yet because I don't know what I can promise to bring as a good value for the higher tiers. But for right now, $2.99 a month will get you emojis, badges.
Yeah, every time I put a song on, they have to copyright it, even though I paid for it. So,
and then also
their contribution again, they can one finger salute to YouTube already.
I just would love to see because we started this thing with sign language with Cool Bro. I would be interested to find out if Cool Bro actually does.
I don't want to start or do anything with Cool Bro.
Does give his teacher the number one sign and ends up in the principal's office. But Kurt Affairs here. All right, on the way out, John's neighbor had the worst takes ever. I could not watch it, Kurt. I watched about 10 minutes of it. The problem is I turned it off because I know, and I don't like to turn off my own channel, but I had to because it was just so bad, because I also knew I had to eventually listen to the entire show to edit it before I could upload it to audio. So yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Charge $99 a month. We want to make sure for the $99 we be giving you something of great value. I'm not here to rip you guys off. I don't want to do that. I know Joe wouldn't.
No, you ain't paying. You're not paying $99 ever for anything. I wouldn't even do a autograph picture thing for money. I just don't believe.
I mean, I've asked Joe to do his own Patreons or OnlyFans or whatever, membership plans that for you guys, if you want your specific Joe rants, because I think that is only fair for the money. If he were to do that specifically, to go to him specifically on that, because he would be having, all that Joe exclusive content. But if he does ever do that, I mean, we'll let you know, but try to make it what we're doing now on memberships as best we can. But thanks again for everybody watching this thing. Kurt, hopefully you'll get a chance to check out the beginning of the show where we talk about actually if there's any feasible way for any superstar, and I mean any, to get here to the Lakers. And so I think it was a pretty good conversation. Ox says, I'd rather swim in raw sewage than do. The thing is, though, he would actually say that if Cool Bro was still here, but Cool Bro better be getting to sleep because he's got school tomorrow. So hopefully he did his homework to keep up that supposed 4.0 GPA it has. But we'll see. $7,000 y'all got? No. I was just using that as an example. 7. If Joe ever decided to do his things exclusively for you Joe fans out there.
I don't love myself that much to do a show by myself.
He keeps asking me, JSJ, but
what am I going to talk about by myself?
He wants to talk about
hi, my name is Joe, and I went to the store and I bought a slinky or whatever that. Like,
no, they just want your rants, man. They just want your rants on everything,
rants
like the Olympics,
organic,
and all that
folks.
Yeah.
See, this is not. I've been called Skip Bayless and all this stuff. I'm like, those guys premeditate their stuff. I don't. Mine is real. I won't rant if I don't have to. The ranting means more when it's real, not coming on every show and ranting and yelling. I know I'm probably wrong on this because a bunch of people making millions of dollars doing it, but I got my own way to do this. And right now, I'm just not. We just don't have the resources to market where we need to go, but we will soon. We will eventually. And when that happens, then you guys are going to have the honor of saying, hey, we knew about this guy before any of you schmucks got thrown into the algorithm because of resources. You guys found us organically. And
Current
the base.
affair. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
You want me to let you? You just want to run the show? You want to?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Joe. Continue. You're bellowing. Yes.
The rants in terms of what likely will be though is the more audience we do have, it's likely the rants will be abundant because there's probably going to be a lot more people commenting about how I am. People that turn down their volumes because they don't like the yelling because apparently their little baby ears can't handle little excitement, you know. So if your little baby ears hurts, if you're all, oh, I'm offended, or oh my God, he hurt my feelings, yeah, that's when the rants are really going to be real because I'm going to crush everyone when it comes to that.
Mike Lindell, not Mike Lindell. Just turned you off, man.
Well, you can't come onto a show and insult the host.
Xbox, that's way too descriptive. I really didn't.
You can't insult the host.
Oh,
you insult the host, you get the fire.
Oh my gosh!
And I got more energy than anyone. I got more energy than any of these schmucks.
Darren says down payment on your house, Joe.
You're going to need to add about 8 zeros on that. Then we'll talk. Yeah, you know, authentic Joe. It really is. This is. There's some times where I'll embellish for the excitement. Believe me. But the thing is, it's more of a switch. It's a switch, guys. It's a switch. It's a firecracker. You know, I don't go into a show and going all the time. I don't do that. I do it once in a while if I, you know, after a game or something. But normally things have to spark. And then once the spark is over, folks, it's done. It's done.
How is Temecula on property value compared to, let's say, La Jolla, which in that area,
it's high, but not La Jolla. Yeah, not La Jolla. But I will say this: as much as traffic has gone up here, it's still not going to be as bad as La Jolla when it comes to traffic.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't want to.
I just drove it.
I wouldn't want to live in La Jolla, honestly. Even if you came and said, "Hey, here's a house in La Jolla," I'd be like, if you want me to live in that area, I'd rather live in Del Mar. Del Mar has a little bit of an opening.
Oh, Del Mar is really cool.
Yeah,
I love that old hotel, Del Mar by the beach. That's actually on the beach. Oh yeah, there's a great old hotel that's actually literally on the beach out there.
You have to live in La Jolla and not leave La Jolla. Then you're good. If you're not leaving La Jolla, if you're there, you're working and eating there, absolutely. But I drive everywhere. I go everywhere right now. It would be dumb of me. I'd be driving 5 hours a day if I lived in La Jolla. Here, at least I'm centralized here.
John, what's up? I gave you a big shout out earlier, my friend. Glad to see you back doing shows on YouTube. Hopefully all is well with you, my friend. Check out the John McCallion channel, like and subscribe. Also as well, of course, Joe Sorrell.
Jay, there's nothing. Sorry, I have to say this. Jay, there's nothing wrong with drinking Coke and a Red Bull. The problem with freaking Cool Bro is he's a kid. You have any idea how bad how bad Red Bull is? It's so bad. Monsters, Red Bulls. There was a drink called Jolt growing up, and it doesn't touch Red Bull, and it's freaking battery acid for children. And this schmuck is yapping about how great it is.
I remember Jolt. Oh my God, that was just caffeine.
Hey, John, if you're going, how far south are you going?
Yeah, John, I remember that. But how far south are you going, John? San Diego fish tacos, you heard? Yes, absolutely.
You gotta go. If you're heading to the Chula Vista area, go to TJ Oyster and get the smoked tuna tacos, fish tacos. Trust me, you won't.
I had some. Speaking of La Jolla, I had some near La Jolla. That was just fantastic.
Yeah, if you're going to Coronado Island from the connect to Coronado, you're maybe about 15, 20 minutes from Bonita, Chula Vista area. I highly recommend it. Believe me, you won't regret it.
If you want burritos, Lucha Libre. Absolutely fantastic. Lucha Libre.
I like Red Bull and vodka once in a while. I do like the taste of Red Bull and vodka. But I'm a grown-ass man. I'm not a 15-year-old. When I was 15 years old, if I did drink soda, it was my parents got again, at the time, we didn't know, obviously, right? It was caffeine-free diet. We weren't drinking straight Coke and all that stuff, no. And we didn't drink it all day, every day either. My mom was cooked. She cooked food. It was rice and meats and sauces, vegetables. We didn't eat straight slop from McDonald's and all that. That was more a luxury thing. Maybe once a month we would eat, or when during the football season we would eat when we go out after the games. But yeah, you gotta, the whole reason why I don't have any allergies or any really major health problems, it's because of my food. Played a huge part in it.
I'll tell you what,
I eat worse now than I did then, for sure, because I have the freedom of eating whatever I want now. But no, we're no good, no bueno. You don't brag about drinking that freaking battery acid, man. I see kids, high school kids, drinking Monsters before school. It's tragic.
Or they'll drink those, they'll go to Starbucks and they'll get those heavily caffeinated mocha, whatever, put in their drinks. And man, that stuff is filled with caffeine as well. Just different world we live in, my friend. But Darren, just truly cannot thank you enough for the very kind and generous super chat. Truly appreciate it. It is Joe Soro, aka Ox1947 at LakersBall.com. Please go ahead and support him today by stopping over to Simblades, Simblades with a Y.com. John McCallion, support his channel. He's back doing shows. I have been watching, John. I'm just letting you know. Good stuff again, my friend. Wishing you well, and you look happy, my friend. So I'm really happy for you. Looks like you're in a pretty good way right now. So I'm really cannot be more happier when you see a friend really doing well. So John McKinley says, Gerald, don't worry, he'll call his bank and dispute the 40. If he does, he does. No worry, that's typical. But no, Darren's good. Darren, we truly appreciate all of his support throughout the years he's been giving us. And again, if you want to continue to support us, super chats are awesome. Truly appreciate it. But you can also do the membership thing. Again, you get access to emojis, badges, and a big shout out at the beginning of shows that I do, like the one I'll do tomorrow. The one hopefully we'll do in the coming days and weeks before the Lakers head out for training camp. What's so funny?
The conversation.
Oh, the caffeine conversation? The drink conversation?
We should have talked about that too.
When Cool Bro was here, yeah.
No, the hell with Cool Bro. I don't care if he's here or not. I'm talking about just the opinions. Dr. Pepper is rank. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody in my surroundings loves that stuff.
The rest of my family does. JSJ.
I don't know. It's too licoricey.
I don't touch that stuff.
Mark, dude, I used to say that all the time. Scotch, Scotchy, down in my belly. Unique New York. We used to do that when I did the local TV for a very short amount of time. Unique. Enunciate.
Darren, that's a good question.
Broken.
Training camp MVP, JHS. That's something we're going to have to touch on before training camp.
I do, John. I spent many a nights there and ponchos, drunk off my ass, only to eat and be undrunked after because of the food. So Trujillo's one of the legendary places at the
I have heard of it, yes.
Of San Diego State University. And ponchos, the tiki burrito that was the size of this. and I actually finished it one night. It was epic. It was an epic night. And I really I didn't get drunk like most college kids. I got drunk maybe once every few months. But when I did get drunk, it was always a congregation late at night to a nice eatery place.
Don't remember, John, it was 2 tacos for 99 cents back in the day from Jack in the Box. Yeah, they were greasy. You're right.
The Jack in the Box ones, I hear they're still good. It's the perfect drunk food. Just don't get their famous star. They have very slimy lettuce.
You mean the Carl's Jr.?
Whatever, same shit.
You mean the Jumbo Jack?
Yeah.
Kurt Affair says, Joe, what kind of local TV were you on?
There was a station at Palomar College. It showed on Cox Cable. It was just a local thing. I did it for a half a semester. This is after I graduated from San Diego State. I went to go learn under John Chalesnik at Palomar College in sportscasting, and then there was another class there for TV, and I did the anchor work with a really, really cool lady named, at that time her name was Carrie Sargent. Her name is Carrie Lane now. She works for Channel 8 in San Diego. So if you guys ever see her on TV in San Diego, that was my co-anchor.
Before we head on out, Jeremy's kind of puzzled on fish tacos. And I'm like, fish tacos can be really good. And I'll leave it at that. So I'm gonna give you this recipe from Delish.
One of my other favorite movies. Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
There you go. Neil Patrick Harris. I saw an interview with him the other day. He was talking about how much fun he had doing it.
Oh my God, that was so good. He was hilarious in that movie. Those guys were hilarious. It's funny how many pothead movies I love, and I don't even smoke. But my God, that movie, anytime I'm bored, boom, pop it in, and never gets old. Oh man, good picks, guys. You guys are killing it tonight.
Yes,
Rubio's is not good. Come on.
Rubio's is good. No, I will fight you on Rubio's.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It's terrible.
Rubio's is good. Sorry. I go to Rubio's a lot. I do love their fish tacos, fish burritos. Yeah, sorry. Rubio's all day for me.
No.
Yes. You're the guy who was just talking about a famous star, so I'll leave it at that.
Huh?
But once again, it is
how bad it was.
Del Taco. Oh my God.
That's even worse.
That's cool, bro. Special right there, JSJ.
Trash. Whenever I think of Del Taco and Taco Bell, just look at the trash. This is what I look at right here. This is what it reminds me of right here.
And on that note, thanks again for the super chat, Darren. Truly appreciate it. Again, our memberships are available. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Hopefully everything works out. Tomorrow I'll be on with Alfred Esmond, maybe even Legend 350. We'll be talking about the offseason and the teams that did so well. Go ahead and talk about that. And then Joe and I will be back later this week. He's eyeing for the Steelers. That's not a story. Expired. You guys are crazy. They're just going off. They're going off the.
We have indoor plumbing here, John. I wouldn't have to shit in a trash can. Luckily for me,
I think we jumped the shark, man. I think it's time for Fonzie to go home. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Really appreciate you joining. Yay, indeed. That's where it started with jumping the shark, literally. Rubio's file for banks are closed almost 50. Yeah, they're solid in our town. That's all I'll tell you, Bloodhound.
Yeah, Las Vegas. Solid like a nice big dump.
No, they're not. They're good. Rubio's is good. Don't listen to him. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Sorrow along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow. hopefully, if all works out well. And then Joe and I will be back later this week. Yeah, Red Lobster, that's just a poorly run company. At least they'll keep the biscuits alive, and you'll be able to get the biscuits wherever you go to your grocery store. So that's at least something. But again, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. We're back tomorrow, hopefully, and later this week with more great stuff, more great talk, more great things on the way right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.